Hey man, how's it going?
Howdy doody, not too bad. It is freaking cold today,
It is cold today, no kidding. Snow and
like
everything.
-16, -18, or whatever it is. And I got the
Crazy.
coldest room in the house because it's like, what is this?
Right
Almost
next to the
three full
window
walls. Yeah, three full walls connected to the outside because there's like a indent into
into
the
the
entrance
house.
of the
Yeah.
house. Yeah, so I got like two and a half walls and it's
Yeah.
cold.
That's why you have to stay warm, right? Yeah, I hear you. It's quite cold today, so hopefully
Yeah.
whoever's where we are, everybody's staying safe and warm.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome back everybody to Bite My Shiny Metal Cast. Yeah, where Mitchell and I talk about Futurama, all things Futurama, and some other fun things related to the show. So, like and subscribe if it seems interesting, and we'll get right into it. So, Love and Rocket. The beginning title card of this, or the opening caption, when you see the robot, drink. And we do see the robot a lot. So, hopefully, if you're just watching the episode, don't go crazy, but it's pretty good. We open on the trio traveling through space, and what is this? Bender is arguing with the ship.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird episode if you overthink it too much.
It is, but it's funny because we've actually talked about the character of the ship before, right? Remember Bender mentioned about like drinking with the autopilot,
Yeah,
which is part of the
yeah,
ship. So I think this is supposed to be him. I think it's kind of like a reference to that, which is kind
yeah.
of funny. But now they're not getting along. They used to get along, but now they don't. So it's kind of
it,
interesting
it was an argument over
art.
art, but like
Yeah,
smutty art. Like you know how
yeah.
like the really super duper Christians don't like the old um
Like the
Renaissance like naked paintings and
Renaissance
stuff like that.
artists. Yeah,
And then there's
exactly.
people who like
They blur it
over
out. They
correct the other
censor it.
way and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Yeah. Yeah, well,
Exactly,
the
exactly.
Sistine Chapel was naked until I can't remember which pope or king it was, but they censored it by putting the loincloths on them, which, yeah, I don't like looking at naked dudes, especially in painting
Hmm.
forms on the ceiling. That's just scary.
Well, how many people would go? I mean, everybody would go to see the painting, right?
Yes, mind you,
The
that
Sistine
it's a little
Chapel,
different from your
but
bedroom
yeah,
ceiling
you're not
to
gonna
an
like
actual
sit there every
chapel.
day, yeah, and just stare at it. So,
Yeah.
anyways, yes, they're arguing about art, and yeah, specifically this more
Oh, I can't even remember. It's
vivid arts, right?
Aphrodite. It's the Aphrodite one where she's coming out of the sea, but in this case, it's
Yes, the Venus, the
the
Venusy,
slime
yeah,
monster. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you. Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
You know,
So
I used to know the names of these things and stuff like that because
that's
I
right, yeah.
did take an
You
art
did
history
art
class.
history, yep, yep.
Had to take it twice because the first time the teacher was she was a
Horrible.
great teacher, but she was
Mhm.
evil when it came to marketing. Like she expected the best
Right,
of the best
right,
of the best.
brutal.
So I took it with a different guy who was on the last like 2 months of teaching. He didn't care. He passed everyone.
Made it
But
easier for you.
I
Yeah,
learned lots from her because she was a great teacher, but evil when it came to marking.
fair enough. But yeah, as they continue on, then and Leela makes a threat, of course, to try and like shut them both up because they're both machines,
They're
right?
both
So she could
robots.
change their thing, which is kind of funny. So anyway, we cut back to the HQ, the Planet Express HQ, and the professor and Hermes arrive in to they're sitting in the main area, the trio, and Hermes and the professor give off new uniforms because they're trying to get a new contract with a company that they're going to go and see, and this is going to be with the entire crew, I guess. Everybody gets to go and see this, so they get to show off their specifics, right? And this is also for and during the time of Valentine's Day within the world of Futurama. So if you're
Which
watching
are
or listening to this
yeah.
episode during the Valentine's Day time, happy Valentine's Day, but it will not
Unfortunately,
be
this one doesn't
when it's
line up like it
revealed.
did with the
Yeah,
Christmas one. Yeah.
it did not. No, we didn't take a couple of months break like they would during the time during live television.
Yeah, yeah. Like right now, everyone's on television break and stuff like that.
Right. So
Ah, TV. You guys remember TV? No,
nice
not me.
times. Yeah. So they want this new
Structure.
contract, and the company that they're trying to get from is called Romantic Corp, which is just a place that designs romantic romantic stuff, candies, toys, all this fun stuff. So they have to travel to the place, quote unquote, the place they found most romantic, Milwaukee, which I thought was just
Can you
kind of
tell me
funny.
a
Yeah.
fact about Milwaukee at all, Anthony? I got
Not at
one.
all. All I know is that according to Futurama, it's the home of the beer goggles.
I
But
have
other
one
than
fact
that,
about it.
what's that?
They have one of my favorite sports team in basketball, the Bucks. Yeah, that's
Milwaukee
right.
Bucks.
And like their catchphrase is "Fear the deer." So Yeah,
That's pretty good, actually. Yeah.
as much as I know in real life, bucks are quite scary. They kill more people a year than grizzly bears and stuff like that just during
Yeah,
hunting.
yeah. No, their kicks
So,
are lethal.
but
Yeah,
just like because of Bambi, it just ruined their image in my mind.
sure.
So there's my fun fact about
There you go.
Milwaukee,
And
the
now everybody
Bucks.
can use it. There you go.
Yeah, fear the deer.
So the Planet Express crew all travel to Romantic Corp, right? And they get to land in the company's area, and they're greeted by the CEOs, who are also a married couple. Now, the thing about this company is that they're all about love, and they're all about romance. So they have to pretend. Some of them have to pretend that at least they
Yes.
give a crap
Like
about being
Leela.
romantic, like Leela. So the professor has a fun thing about making sure that she does some acting to do it, and she comes across as like, overly lovey and all this kind of stuff. So they go in there and they take this little tour with these CEOs, and they're showing them like how they make these lovely bears, or whatever they're called, the cuddly bears, and how they have these robot things, these test robots that kind of show up pickup lines to see what is in and what is not.
It's just like chicken mesh. It's chicken mesh in like the shape of a
Yeah,
human.
with eyes.
Yeah, with eyes and just like a bender mouth kind of thing, like just like a
Right.
speaker. And did heaven lose an angel because you got nice cans, which is just
John
hilarious.
DiMaggio.
Yeah,
I love his John
yeah.
DiMaggio as well. And she's just like, ugh. And then the other one is, I think it's Phil Lamar, and he
Yeah.
says something along it's like, my two favorite things are growing and changing myself, or something. Oh no,
Yeah.
commitment and changing
Yes,
myself.
which,
And she
as
falls in
any
love with
man knows, is not. Woman and man knows. Nah, I mean that's what they want, but that'll never happen. A
It'll
guy will
never
never say
happen.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, never,
Did,
ever, ever.
did you have any good pickup lines in your younger days, Anthony?
Any good pickup lines?
No, I have a bad one. I'll go first while you're thinking.
Sure, go for it. Yeah.
Me, Tarzan. Will you be my Jane?
Wow, that is pretty
Did
bad.
it work? Did it work?
Hell no.
Kind of, but she didn't hear me, so I think she assumed I said something else.
One of
I did get a kiss though.
Oh, okay. One of my favorites. I never really got to use because I think I was too cowardly, or I didn't have enough confidence to use any of these anyway. But one of them was, do you believe in love at first sight, or should I walk by again? I always thought that one was pretty clever.
That one's a good one. Yeah.
So if you're confident enough to kind of use them, I think they can work to some extent, right? It can get you talking.
Did you also have? There's three ways. There's three ways to play. Like either you got to lean way into the like, yeah, I know this is a corny pickup line, but guess what? Yeah. Or just so overly confident that you're just like, yeah. Or the third one is like, you got to be like such like yeah.
This is all you have.
What was the word? Patheticness works in your favor. Pity. There we go. There's where she pities you. Believe me, there's a lot that works for. Pity works a lot more than it should. Go beta males.
Didn't you also have one about like something about an animal, like what was it? I don't know if you ever used this. You just had this as a joke, but you would walk up to somebody and you'd say like, you know what really breaks the ice? A polar bear or something, and then like you'd introduce yourself or something. Was that you?
I don't think that was me.
No? I can't remember who it was.
Kenneth had a great one too. Let's count shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's right.
And on the 3 and 4, you put your arm around them, like your arm around them. So
sitting
it's like
on the sofa or something.
Yeah.
That was.
And I thought that one was good. That one was good.
That's true. So, and because the last portion of their tour is them with the candy hearts. Those little candy hearts are kind of chalky. We have them today. Apparently, they've been making them for over 1,000 years. And they have like little.
May have changed, but their recipe hasn't.
Yes.
And the recipe's bone meal and then earwig honey. Did you know that earwigs make honey, or is that just a made up thing? Just make it sound grosser.
I think it's just to make it sound grosser.
Yeah.
I don't quite know what they make in terms of these little chalky hearts, but yes, I'm pretty sure it's just made up for the situation.
Yeah.
So, in any case, these candy hearts, right? And then you can get the little things, you can give them to your loved ones or whatever. They come in a little pack, and then just have like a little message on them. Exactly.
Love me. I love you. I think that bit is one that one's brought up in this episode.
That's right.
Be mine. All those classic ones and stuff like that. Like
you're my man.
You're my man. I looked these up just very quickly just to like see what there was. And like some of these, I don't know if these are old ones or current ones, but like be good to me, that just feels like weird. Wise guy, that's another one. Date me. This one I feel like is a little more newer than this. Be my sugar daddy. That one feels like there's some connotations. Snug as a bud, super cool. Trust me. What the hell? Bye,
you
cutie.
are too cute. Right?
Yeah, you are too cute.
Yeah.
Don't be that way. Like some of these feel like like just candy for people you give, but in the shape of a heart, it feels like there's some like sinister connotations with them. Yeah.
And it seems like they should have some kind of romantic message, but some of these don't seem to have that romantic
Groovy.
message.
Yeah,
If they were just like little circles with messages, I mean that's fine. But
there we go.
Hearts,
Yeah.
right?
The neutral, the neutered of candies for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, there you go. So in any case, Fry is impressed by these little candy things, despite the fact that he comes from the time that these things have been around for a long time, but whatever. He's impressed by them. And he's like, okay, I'm going to use this time. And I mention this because this will come back later. He's going to use this time to try and go through these hearts, and he's going to try and find the perfect message to give to Leela because he can't put his words together because Fry has a brain thing. So, any case, he goes through and he's trying to find these ones.
Words are hard, man.
Oh,
why it's easier to get a piece of candy that says it on it to give it to someone than for you to
specifically
say
correct piece of candy.
This is where the pittiness comes in handy, guys or ladies. This is where like I can't say words, so have some candy.
Exactly. So the Planet Express crew does get the contract, and they're able to do some deliveries for Romantic Corp, and that's of course delivering these candy hearts for wherever they need to go. So. The professor also, due to the fact that they get this money for the contract, he's able to make improvements to the ship and all these things. So there's like reactor fixes and some other elements that are kind of just jokey. Something about a lion cage cage the lion.
Yeah, I do like and you cage a lion.
Like, okay, we've never seen this lion. We'll never see this lion again, but whatever. But the final
their delivery company is probably like a cargo hold for animals.
Maybe they're sure. Yeah, actually that makes sense.
They did that in like the third or fourth episode where we met Nibbler, right? But that was just the hull. That wasn't actually like an actual cargo. Yeah, it wasn't like an animal cargo.
Yeah.
So
this is like
again,
above the cockpit.
we're putting puzzle pieces together that make sense, but not really in.
They never talk
matter.
about this area again.
Never again. No.
Yeah.
No.
So, but the final thing that's important about these improvements is that the professor got the ship to have a new software update, which has made the personality different and all this kind of stuff more agreeable in this case. I do like how when it starts speaking, so Bender's upset because it changed his radio station. It starts speaking like Maurice LaMarche.
Do.
Yes. But it speaks like Maurice LaMarche, but then it turns as they change like the voice, because it can change the voice modulator, it actually turns into Sigourney Weaver, who
lovely Sigourney Weaver.
Everybody we know, or most people should know, that she was also famous for many movies, but specifically in the science fiction realm. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right, Ghostbusters as well, but in the science fiction realm and space.
Aliens.
She was in the third one too, wasn't she? Not the remake, the sequel, the actual sequel.
She was in like the last credit scene with Bill Murray if you watch the first one, when Bill Murray was trying to do that psychic test with the guy to see what a shape was on the car. She was testing him and having fun with that. But she wasn't in the most recent one, which is such a bummer because she's amazing.
Though then again, that most recent one apparently didn't go over very well.
No,
that was a huge cash grab.
I severely did not like it. I was so mad at that film.
Yeah,
but Sigourney Weaver, she's pretty awesome, and she's been a huge what's the word I'm looking for here? A huge figure in science fiction.
Yes, and the biggest one, of course, that a lot of people know her from is Alien, which is kind of what is referenced with the sci-fi space kind of sci-fi, right? 1 and 2, 1 and 2, yeah. And so and later I think she pops up, or her voice pops up in the other ones. I never really saw the later Alien films, but she is still a big port. Yeah. And a lot of people pay homage to her character, right? Like she's a very important portion to it.
She was one of the first female leads in like an action
film,
something like science fiction, right? And she was awesome. And people don't like to include her in that with nowadays stuff. This is the first female action hero. I was like, let's go back to the 80s. She was there. She was awesome.
The 80s have many. Well, not many, but they had a lot of female action heroes that were still very much female, which is I think is what the important portion is. Yeah, Sarah Connor was one of the original Sarah Connor, right? Linda Hamilton. Yeah. So, but in any case, this new software changes the voice, and the voice is now played by Sigourney Weaver. So she is now the ship.
And she does a great job. It took me I think 2 or 3 watches of this as an adult to go, oh hey, that's her, because I hadn't had much dealings with Sigourney Weaver in my life. I still haven't seen the Alien ones. I'm watching them in chronological order. So when they in actual chronological order, like not like when the movies came out.
No,
I watched Prometheus. I watched the next Alien one. So I'm waiting for that next one. Yeah, it's in the talks, guys. It's in the talks.
Sure. So now she's now flirty, and she kind of flirts with Bender and all this kind of stuff. So
such a weird concept.
But it's so funny for this episode, hence the
It
title
is.
of Love and Rocket,
awesome.
right? So Bender and the ship, and she's literally just known as Ship. The two of them, they start
Planet
dating.
Express ship.
Yes, they start dating despite the fact that they're not really supposed to for one
straight
reason
into
or
a
another.
montage. Straight into a montage. Not like another
Almost,
like of them
almost.
getting along. It's just boom right into
They get caught fooling around by Fry and Leela at first, right? And then she does mention like you're not supposed to do this and everything, right? So after that, then there's a nice montage, and yeah, they have this picnic. There's like the washing the ship, washing the ship with Amy. And
Leela's in a bikini. Sorry, Amy's in a bikini washing the ship, and both Fry and Bender are like, hey.
That's pretty good. And of course, dancing and all this is being like over narrated with Bender singing. I don't know the song, but Daisy something, Miss Daisy. So that was kind of nice. But then as soon as the montage ends, Bender walks in. It's been like, we'll say a few days at least, maybe a bit of a week. He walks in, he just states, okay, I'm done with her. I'm sick of her.
A very Bender thing to do.
And everyone's like, that's it? Really? You were like loved her beforehand and all this stuff, but it turns out it was a fling. He doesn't really care about her, and that's all. But Leela does warn him, like, okay, you guys work together. You should try and break up with her easily and all this stuff. And he says, nah, I'm just going to, casually do other things on the side and not worry about her feelings, all this stuff, to which he makes fun of Leela after she comments on it, which is a pretty funny line, actually. I do like that one. But in any case, Bender's seeing girls on the side.
He goes to Elzars with these two girls, yeah.
Yeah, and the ship happens to be flying around. So the ship is starting to be a little bit more. She's clearly into Bender,
yeah.
And she's starting to get more obsessive over him. So she's spying on him. She sees him with these two ones, but she doesn't confront him. She flies over to their apartment, as jealous people might do, right? Fry's sleeping all by himself, so Bender's not there. She checks in on him. Fry tries to be a good, quote unquote, the good friend, right? He tries to cover for Bender. And, she just won't really let him off the hook. She's like, well, where is he? Like, is he in another ship? And he says, no. He might be with his parents or something. Like, all this random nonsense. So, any case, the ship is clearly having issues. And the next time we see them, she and Bender are at a zoo somewhere in.
Which I love that there's a little. It's like the New York Zoo, Central Zoo or something like that. But there's a little sign underneath that says "Now with more goats." I'm just like,
people want to see goats. Actually, I did like some of the animals, and this is like there's like what is it?
Extreme elk. Extreme elk, which is just an elk with like glasses on it, I think. But it's also presented by Mountain Dew, which wasn't there a Mountain Dew commercial a long time ago where a guy headbutts a ram?
Yep. For the Mountain Dew.
Was there one with a grizzly bear too? Or is that the Dorito one?
There's one with like a guy fishing or whatever, and then the bear is taking his fish, so he fights the bear for the fish. But that was not that wasn't for that. But no, I do remember the goat one with the Mountain Dew, so that makes sense. And then next to that one is the howling mummies. And so the howling
mummies, yeah, like howling monkeys, but howling mummies.
Yeah,
there's some cool stuff.
And then the last thing we see here before they kind of have their little conversation are tapirs, right? Which you can still see in the zoo, obviously, so they're still around.
They're weird creatures. They're like pig elephants,
but like pigs and elephants mixed together. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
They got a small, trunky nose. You're like, oh, like an elephant. No. It's only like 6 inches long.
It's very small. Like
very
a pig.
Weird.
No, kind of. It's like loose and it falls down.
Yeah, it's more than a pig, but like significantly less than an elephant. And that's a fun thing to do with your friends. Like describe an animal, but don't say what it is.
A tapir is a very strange one to describe. So, anyways, as they're talking about the tapirs, Bender's clearly not having a good time. And he sees it's at the zoo, and he sees like an attractive robot walk by, and she catches him checking her out. So she confronts him about the other night with the two girls at Elzars. Bender, plays it off.
I like the challenge.
Yeah, it's like, I like a challenge, I guess, and all this stuff. So he makes up some phony excuse about them being accountants or something. And because the ship is in denial and loves Bender, is obsessive over Bender, she just says, okay, I want to believe that, so I do. And she flies off to whatever, and I think she says to make dinner for them, but I don't know what they're going to eat, but it doesn't matter. Point is, she flies.
Mineral oil from Mom.
Sure. So the ship flies off, leaving Bender at the zoo, I guess, by himself. But not really, because we get a small cameo of Lucy Liu. She pops back in for a small scene. Because, of course, from What was the episode we did with Oliver? Of course, that was season 3's finale.
Yeah, season 3. I think it was like episode 15 for that one. I don't know what
Yeah.
it would be for our episodes, but it was about 5 episodes ago. So I think
Yes,
this is
the episode
45.
the episode title is Electric Gonorrhea, the Noisy Killer. That's what I named it because that's what
Nice.
they talk about in the episode. But yes, that was the episode that she arrived in the first time. So Lucy Liu has a small cameo still in Bender's chest, and he's like, "No, baby, you're still the girl for me." And he closes the chest on her after she says, "I love you."
Episode 44 of our episode 44 of our podcast.
Yes,
So
there you go.
about 4 ago, actually.
Yeah, it's a long time for us because
we
we
also
other things. when
Yeah,
that
we also
happened.
did
Yeah.
the new season.
Yes. So Ship and Leela. We'll flash forward a little bit further. So the company is on a delivery. Okay, they're on their way to, I believe it's Omicron Persei 8, and as they're going through an asteroid field, and you can see more and more that the ship is becoming
Agitated.
agitated. Well, I would just say like
Crazy. Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Weirdly
We're
crazy.
guys. We're guys.
Yeah.
We can call women crazy.
It's going bitches be cray in some form, right? So the ship is going kind of strange, and she's supposed to be piloting through this asteroid belt, but her emotions are starting to get to her. So we see more of these robot emotions that we kind of talked about in the past. And Leela's trying to comfort her, but it's just, trying to get her to see reason, but it's not really working. In any case, they arrive onto Omicron Persei 8, where we are reintroduced, of course, to Lur Naninda, and they're watching Friends. I do.
Yeah, they are watching Friends. Yeah,
I do enjoy. It's like, what, Ross is the biggest of them. Like, why doesn't he simply just eat the other 5? Like, I love their not their parody, their commentary on like all the TV shows of Earth. But
mind you, like what Friends would have been just like at like its peak, I think, at this point, right?
It was finishing actually. It finished in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. It was going to be on like season 7 or 8 at that point when this episode came out. So
it was 10 seasons.
It did. So I'm sure. I mean, on its peak, sure, but I mean, like at that time, like there were new storylines, new characters were getting introduced, all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think that's when Monica and Chandler, around that time, that they would have been married. So rest in peace, Matthew Perry, as well, for the mention. But any case, the reason that they're on this delivery is because they're here to drop off these hearts from Earth to Omicron Persei 8 as a sign of goodwill, and that they care about them, so to speak. So Lur and Aninda try out these hearts, and they don't like the taste, but they also
likes the taste.
They also don't like the messages, because one of them says "wov," which makes them confused. And they're like, what is this nonsense? And because these monsters, these aliens hate anything that has to do with cute and everything that reviles anyone else they like, right? They like combat, they like fighting, they like all these kind of things. Like, I'm pretty sure Lur ate her father at their wedding. So it's like, it's a big thing that these guys do the evil things that human beings wouldn't like. So they don't like cutesy stuff. Yeah,
to counter your point, but also to like, yeah, you're 100% right. But also to counter your point, in a later episode. In a later episode, we also find out that their bikes can fly through the power of love. So,
which is why they don't have anything. Well, they don't fly.
No, because their men have been broken hearted too many times, so they can't feel love anymore. So they start to fall. Right. But they also have the immortality in there as well. Like
that's right. Yeah, they live forever.
They're kind of like just like a we need a joke about this alien race here.
That's true.
Yes.
Oh, and their poop are M&Ms or. Which we find out later.
Reese's feces or something like that.
Right. They're colored though. They're like these little things. Yeah.
But also like they should know what WOV is, being that the fact that they love television from the 90s, which is it takes 1,000 years from Earth to Omicron, which is what they're watching.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure WOV has been mentioned a few times during those TV shows and stuff like that. So again. I'm overthinking it too much, but I'm still.
Maybe they thought they misheard it. Maybe they thought they misheard it. And like, no, he must have said love. And
no, it says
now
WOV.
they can read it says WOV. Yeah. So
your concept of WOV confuses us.
Confuses and irritates us. So, any case, due to the fact of this situation, they start attacking the trio after their delivery, and they run them off the planet, chasing them into space. Now, while they're being attacked, Bender has the bright idea to dump the ship, and she is absolutely devastated, and basically I don't know how they do this in space, but she stops in space, for the joke, and the torpedoes from the Omicron Persei 8 aliens, whatever, the Omicronians, shoot them and basically hit the ship. But Luckily, the ship is not destroyed. It has small damages that are repairable or whatever, aside from the feelings of the Planet Express ship. And so, as they're drifting through space, Leela tries to console the ship, and
with ice cream.
With ice cream. Well,
In
Leela's
pajamas.
eating the ice cream and letting it, as girls tend to do when they want to try and, make the other one feel better about a situation like this. However, Bender is perfectly fine.
Bender is great.
He's very
Bender
happy
is great. Bender is great.
So, as Leela is trying to help the Planet Express ship kind of get over Bender or feel better, she inadvertently convinces the Planet Express ship to, it's too bad that you guys couldn't be one thing, because then you could think about this, or you can't change time and space no matter what you do. So the ship decides to fly them into a quasar, which of course is
that place
right.
Can bend time and
bend space and time, but also can basically has
change laws of physics.
Also super gravity that it can just crush you into one thing. So she's so obsessed that she wants to be one with Bender physically. So Planet Express ship.
There's also, was it during that sequence where she references the Space Odyssey? I can't do that, Leela.
Right as she's about to, Leela's trying to change the trajectory, right? But she's locked the steering wheel. And she says, can you scooch a few parsecs to the left, right? We got a mention of parsecs. And she's like, I can't do that, Leela. And that's, of course, Hal from A Space Odyssey. Exactly. So the ship has become full-on evil now. So
like Hal.
At this point, Fry and Bender run into the cockpit to see what's happening. And Bender tries to convince her, hey, no, I still love you. We can still be together. And she's like, no, only if you join with me. Merge our consciousnesses together. Then I'll stop this, obviously, because we'll be the one. Bender at first is like, no way. And so Leela tries to intervene. Ship says, you know what? I'm gonna shut off the oxygen because we want to be alone. Luckily they have some of these gas masks or whatever, these tanks, air tanks,
scuba masks, whatever.
Looks like scuba gear, but they're in a spaceship, so obviously if the air goes out, then they need something else, right? So there's 2 packs for Fry and Leela. Bender's fine because he's a robot. But she also shuts off the artificial gravity, which makes them start flying through. So all the candy hearts, and I mention this because we'll come back again, all the candy hearts flow up because that's what they're delivering, and the 3 of them quickly, I guess, swim in air.
Yeah, that one was weirded me out a little bit, the animation.
It's kind of strange. But they end up going to the one place that apparently the Planet Express ship can't hear them, which means that when that scene happens, when Bender is lying with Fry in their quarters, and he's like, Bender's great. Yeah. She can hear him saying that, so she knows that so there's that little underneath, just a little bit kicking while you're down kind of thing that Bender's doing to her. But in any case, they get to a bathroom shower, which is the only place they can't be heard, and they start doing a plan, which the ship says she can't read lips or anything, so she honestly has no idea what's going on. But Leela's plan is essentially, let's get you 2 to merge minds to distract her while Fry and I go shut off her brain. Bender at first is like, I don't know if I want to do that, I'm whatever, this could overwrite my personality, all this stuff. And she says, no,
meek little personality.
Yeah, so because I'm so great, right? And so she's like, that's a something. What did she say? That's a chance I'm willing to take or something, right? So convince Bender to do it. So he goes over, he plugs into her, and they have this little thing that they go into. Their heads are there. So the ship is there, and then Bender's head, and they're kind of talking to each other. But she starts chasing him inside the mind bank, whatever you want to call it, digital world of whatever this is. And so while they're doing
I do love the fact that Bender goes, tubes. You said you were younger than that.
Yeah, you're older than you said you were, or whatever, right? Yes. Yeah. So Leela and Fry go to the ship's connection area, and where all of her brain information. This is also very similar to Space Odyssey when he's turning off Hal, but instead of buttons and switches, it's little. It's
pop cans,
pop can kind of lids.
Yeah, pop can with the tabs. You open up the
yeah. To which they're actual you could actually win stuff in there because she won a trip to Six Flags.
Another reason why they need to live.
Exactly. So as she's doing this, but all the candy hearts are still flying around. So Fry says, okay, I'm going to try and help you that way because I can't do anything else. So he starts trying to get them and looking for the right heart to give to Leela. However, she tells him off and says, don't distract me. I have to do this in the correct order. So he starts doing it. But then he notices that Leela's backpack with her air tank seems to be going empty. So he tries to tell her. She doesn't want to hear about it. And so he selflessly takes away his oxygen, gives it to her, and then he kind of slowly suffocates while she's getting rid of everything else, like for Fry, as Fry does. So at the end, she finally shuts him off, and right before Bender is going to be consumed by the personality of the Planet Express ship, and he wakes up. So everybody goes back, everything goes back to normal, gravity comes back, oxygen returns, Leela sees that Fry's unconscious. She goes and she revives him. He spits out
Which
a heart.
I love here.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a very nice scene.
She's like, well,
actually.
bam, bam.
Yeah, and it spits out, hits her face, and she looks at it, and it says, "You leave me breathless." And those are the words that she likes, and they both, say Happy Valentine's Day to each other. So there is this kind of, it's not romantic, but it is kind of romantic in some regard. Like they can admit to feelings for each other, but they don't.
It's called pity. Anthony, she pitied him to a point where
I don't know
it was
if this
perfectly.
I
It was
don't know if
perfectly
this is
done.
pity, man. He
done.
saved her life. He saved her life. I think this is actually like a heroic action that she actually likes, because she does say. Too. Well, she does say earlier in the episode, right? It's not the message I like about the man; it's the man, right? So it's kind of in this sense, like he does do this. He gets this message: "You leave me breathless," but it's his actions, right?
Which left him breathless.
Right, it works on multiple levels. It's a very well made episode, actually, very well constructed.
Yeah.
So, in any case, they finally finish off, and they head over to where Bender is, and he wakes up and all this kind of stuff, and it seems that he has his personality mostly intact. We get a little snippet of Sigourney Weaver,
a cuddly little taper, yeah,
and
voiced by Sigourney Weaver. Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver right before the end. And they decide, like, okay, well, I guess Bender's okay, so we need to still get rid of these hearts somehow. And Leela says, okay, I'll just do this. And so she hits a button, the hearts fly out, and they end up going into the quasar star, which creates this beautiful aurora of radiation that destroys multiple planets in the vicinity, except for Earth. And the people on Earth can witness a beautiful, colorful sky at night on Valentine's Day. And it's all narrated by Zoidberg, funny enough.
The most romantic one of them all.
Yeah. And he goes on there and he joins in with Leela during this last little montage of all these characters being together on Valentine's Day. It's a very beautiful scene. We have like a couple of the mutants, Violet, and I can't remember the guy with three arms. One's coming out of his.
Oh, jeez, I can't remember. Yeah, the mutant.
Yeah,
with 3 arms.
The mutants
I have 3 arms. No, I said right. Harmless.
Harmless, not armless. And then
we also see the lady.
The lady from the test with the dummy.
The dummy. Yeah, she's rowing the boat.
The commitment and changing myself dummy or whatever.
Yeah.
That Leela also asked if they had an older brother, right? Which was kind of funny. And there's a few other people, and then of course Leela and Fry on the roof of the Planet Express headquarters, and Zoidberg joins them. And that's the end of the episode. That's Love and Rocket.
He interrupted them. You should say he didn't join them. He just showed up and kind of.
That's true. He did interrupt them, but then afterwards, because of how beautiful it is, they did kind of take him in. They put their hands around him and everything. They were all.
They counted shoulders, Anthony, but instead of 4, it was 6.
That's right, and kind of counted hips, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, in any case, that's Love and Rocket. So, yeah, you know what? Going right from the get-go, I'd say this episode is actually. It's very well made. It's a very good episode. Yeah, it's funny. It has a lot of really good scenes. It's heartfelt at the end.
Yeah,
good
I
cast.
think they put out all the stuff because of Sigourney Weaver's in it, and they wanted to make sure. Futurama generally doesn't really have guest stars. It does, but it's not like The Simpsons where they have one every episode, right?
Almost. It did very well for this one. Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah.
Right. I think I do have a correction for you. Because this episode came out in 2002, and Friends ended in 2004. So this would have been.
No, I said that it ended in 2004, so it was probably.
You said that. You said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was this one. I think you kind of like it was probably at the end there too. So just this would have been like near the height, or at least the diminishing height of Friends. So it was probably a good reference to have at the time.
Yes, that'd be.
And then the second one I want to say, this has nothing to do with continuity or anything, but just this is a headcanon thing. So the most recent season of Futurama had those little cute Beanie Baby things, right? This episode kind of
the cuddly bears. I was thinking that too myself. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like the cutest, tootiest, most things, and Amy loved them, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
yeah, that's right.
I kind of wish that they incorporated that into the new one, which would have been a cool little Easter egg, because I completely forgot about this, because it's kind of a bit of a one-off joke.
I was as you just said that, my head canon kind of went right to, oh, what if there was like an escaped cuddly bear thing, but instead they were trying out different animals. So then the one that got away was like what was it? What was the leader in the
cuttlefish?
It was a cuttlefish. So maybe the cuttlefish got away, and then he developed like this hive mind. That's why he was able to get out. Maybe he was able to control a bunch of them and do that. So maybe he comes from a romantic corp. That's where the species came from.
There we go. There we go.
Maybe,
boom. Because
there you go.
This is years later, so it's romantic corp was trying different animals. Yeah, there you go. Boom. Yeah. Okay, there we go. We made it better.
We made it slightly better. Mind you, that episode's not bad. It's just it's better than some of the other ones.
Yeah, I think you and I like that episode. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, all right. Let's move on to our favorite scene, favorite joke, MVP.
Oh, geez, there's a few jokes in there. I like the professor
so many.
with zapping Leela kind of thing.
Yeah.
Leela loves to get zapped in this series. I don't know why.
But she starts to really like it near the end.
I do like the pop can one. I think I might like that one the best, just because it's just so out there for like how an engine would run. I also do like Zoidberg at the end there when he's doing his little like explanation. It's like, and it couldn't have been even better, even if it was on Valentine's Day. Wait, it was. Hooray! So
that was pretty sweet, actually. Yeah. I do like when the professor does shock Leela. That like when she's like cutesy enough, then his head is like nodding. He's like, that's good.
The nod. Yeah,
that's good enough. Yeah, man. There's a few of these ones. I love Fry's mention of the space cow. Like he keeps talking like, would we hit a space cow? Like every time. So the first time is when with the ship and Bender be together, and then the next time he runs back and he's like, was it another space cow? So there's a few scenes with Fry. Yeah, man. I do like the cuddly bear, the cuddly whatever. Like I do like that idea, but I do feel so bad for those bears.
Yeah,
I do like the explanation as well. Yeah, it's like do you do this? Do you do this? Like, no, it's actually cheaper to genetically create them and then kill them.
Right, because like Amy was saying, like they're injected with a whole bunch of these cuteness and stuff like that. He's like, it's way too much work. We modified them, and I love the safari guy with the Indian. What is it called? That like he holds all like the ammo and stuff like that. Sherpa, I don't know, and. He goes and shoots and misses. Professor takes his taser.
Shocked it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a lot of really good lines in there. I do like it's like, oh, you found a cage for the lion, but it doesn't really matter.
Good, yeah.
I do. Yeah, I don't know. Like even with Bender and the ship, like there's some fun lines there. I thought that was good. My MVP for the episode is, funny enough, never really happens that often, but is Leela. I'm gonna go Leela on this one. Mine. I thought she had. Oh, there was one joke. And so when Fry is going through, this is kind of what cemented my thought. When Fry is like
going through the hearts,
he's going through the hearts, and she's trying to do the thing in order. And then off to the side, you just kind of hear Fry like, "I'm going to find the perfect line for you." And then you just hear her say, "Chance." Yeah, that was great. It was really funny.
It's good little character babble between each other. Yeah,
it is. It's like they're actually in the room together, kind of thing, right? Because it's they're probably voicing at different times, but no, I like that.
Yeah, I think there was a thing a while ago, like they didn't do the voices together in the same room, and I think they did that since the movie. I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but it was definitely one of those things where it was like, you're doing that? That's weird. Why would you do that? So people can play off each other better and stuff like that. Like
like, I just fear that people would laugh too much, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you do get that. One of my favorite examples of this is in Kung Fu Panda 2. Gary Oldman played the peacock, the albino peacock, and of course Jack Black was Kung Fu Panda, Po.
Yeah.
And when they had their first interaction, it just wasn't quite working well, so they finally got the two of them in the same room together, and they could feel that kind of like, Panda, you're here. Oh, hey, how's it going, man? Hey, right. It was much more authentic and stuff like that. And you know what, as a person who has dabbled very little into being like the voice director or whatever and stuff for my own personal projects, it's better to have the person, which is mostly myself, talking to each other between different voices. Otherwise it's just like, here's a line, I went to the store. The one, why did you go to the store? Because I wanted to. It's easier to have those interactions with people.
Well, yeah, it's much easier to communicate with someone with the right in front of you, right? Rather than pretending that they're right. It's like if you see an actual like animal in front of you, it's easier to interact with that than a digital animal that is just produced by like having a tennis ball in front of you, right? To react to something that's actually there is actually there. So that makes perfect sense. Do you have a MVP then for the episode?
I don't know. Is it? I would love the ship just because Sigourney Weaver's not going to be in here again. But Leela was a close contender. Oh, geez. Let me flip a coin here.
Ship or Leela? Ship or Leela?
Yeah.
You want to just do ship?
Yeah, I'll just go ship.
Go ship. That's okay. The ship hasn't had a
Sigourney Weaver ship, not the other part of the ship.
Well, I was going to say as well, but like the ship as a whole, never really gets character building anyway, except there's one other scene beforehand, like a few episodes. Oh, I can't remember what the episode was. When Leela's telling that, like, yeah, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and she says, like, is everybody ready?
Hermes gets his requisition back.
Requisitions his grooves
back. You're being demoted to the secondary pilot after the autopilot. That drunk?
Right. But he also speaks in another episode too. He says present, and then she's like, okay, let's go. And then it's when it's Bendless Love, and they're taking off, and then the ship crashes because Bender's been bending everything or whatever. So, in any case, the ship never really gets a lot of love. So now we can have it. So that's great. Leela and the ship. No, I love it.
I'm sold. I'm sold now. Yep, definitely the ship. Yep.
That was good. No, I really like this episode. Anyways, anything else to add to Love and Rocket?
No, just it's a very good episode. I would say it's probably, I don't know, the most solid one of this season. Unfortunately, I don't have it pulled up right now, but I do like this one.
So
I don't know if I put it at the top,
solid,
but like it's probably the best well-rounded one, I would say, so far out of the 4 we've done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. It's actually very, very well made episode. I'd put it probably an 8 out of 10 actually, maybe 7.5, 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's actually very solid.
Very solid.
And I would recommend anybody who's a fan of. I mean, anybody who's watched Futurama obviously knows this episode. But yeah, I think it's a very good one. It's a lot of different character growth, and yes, it is nice to have Sigourney Weaver in this role. That she did very, very well as the ship.
Yeah.
But I guess that'll do it then for episode 4. So. Next time it'll be not another one, but like a somewhat special episode for the lore. But we're gonna go season 4, episode 5, Leela's Homeworld. Right, so we're gonna learn a little bit about Leela next time. That'll be fun. But in any case, until then, thank you, Mitchell. Have yourself a great rest of your day.
You too.
Stay warm.
Yeah, I'm trying. I got a blanket, and I probably am gonna go put on pants at some point because I hate pants.
Cold.
It's cold.
All right, take it easy, man.
Yeah, toodaloo.
Toodaloo.